Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Sever7 and today we're taking a look at the Kansept knives Tarkin, and that's with the ultimate goal of seeing if it's worth adding to your daily carry or your collection. Now this did come from the Lefty Pass-Around group. It was designed by Christensen Knife Works and it was OEM'd by Kansept. So jumping right into it, we've got this, not my favorite, flame anodized tiger stripe speed hole front and back. Now I understand the logic, right? Because they flame anodized it, it's hot, right? And we all know what happens whenever a knife gets too hot. So they needed the speed holes to keep it cool. Otherwise, you'd have people getting hurt left and right. So like I get the logic behind it. I'm just not the biggest fan of the brown, the lighter shades of brown and the darker shades of brown. It's a lot of brown. So now I will say one cool thing though is that you get a little with this tiger stripe ano, you get a little more grip, right? Maybe 10% more. You can see, I think you could see the milling lines in the scales. I believe the other variants are just smooth. So you get a little more grippiness, which is kind of nice. It is full titanium construction. We've got T8s for the pivot screws and T6s for everything else. Medium carry. Yeah, I mean deep-ish carry. Non-reversible milled titanium pocket clip. We're rocking half a backspacer, and we have no spot for a lanyard hole. As far as the ergos go, this thing is incredibly comfortable. I thought being thin was going to give me a bunch of hot spots. Not even close. I can squeeze down on this all day, and I'm just fine. Feels very comfortable, very neutral. It's not forcing me to put my hand anywhere. It is giving me a little extra kind of like gunny grip back here. That slight curve means that this knife is a lot less likely to get yanked out of my hand or to fall out of my hand because I can get up here and I can kind of hold on to that little curve area, right? It would be hard for me to slide past it. Not only that though, but we've got this really nice finger choil so you can choke up. And the jimping we have is only jimping for the front flipper, but if I get in here, I can land right here on this thumb disc. And dare I say, I like it more than jimping because it's a whole thumb disc, right? You just land your plane right there. Just, I'm in. I'm in it to win it, right? So incredibly comfortable knife. We have a very nice stone wash finish on the blade. We are rocking a drop point blade with a handsome swedge. We have a flat grind, and we're rocking CPM 20 CV, which is going to be identical to M390, just made by a different company. So if you like M390, you're going to get the same experience the 20 CV. Oh, and to bounce back just a little bit, this knife does feel very balanced in hand. It's a fairly big knife, just shy of 8 inches. But despite that, it's got balance right where you want it. Right. Well, technically you want it a little bit closer to the pivot, but we're still pretty spot on right here because that's going to be about where your finger's at when you're holding onto it, right? So we have good balance. Now, as far as the detent goes, there's something we got to talk about. Every review of this knife that I had seen up until I got it, there's a reoccurring theme where everyone said this knife is different. It feels special. It feels more premium. Kansept went above and beyond, right? A lot of feedback like that for this knife. And to be honest, I really couldn't figure out why. Because there's plenty of knives that have front flippers executed well, plenty of them that have thumb discs that are executed well. There wasn't anything about this knife that screamed to me extraordinary, right? Not saying it was a bad knife. I mean, it looks fine. I just didn't see where they were coming from. That was until, of course, I got it in hand for about 8 seconds. And as soon as I deployed it, locked it back up and deployed it again, I realized, okay, I know what it is. There is some sauce here, but I think it's sauce I can explain. So to get the basics out of the way, we have a medium detent. Acoustics are very satisfying. All deployment methods are very satisfying. And something that you can't do with all knives, we're going to check the, we're going to watch for when the blade kind of gets sucked back in. Oh. So it somewhat aggressively just goes, yeah, it just gets sucked right back in. So the things that are going on here that make this action special. The first thing is the way the deployment methods are designed give you an unusual amount of leverage, right? So the way this front flipper is canted back a little bit, and it's so much higher than, because a lot of front flippers, you know, you could front flip this and it could be like right here, or even right here, right? Like the edge could, or the tip could stop right there and you could still front flip it. But this one, not only does it cant backwards a little bit, but it also goes above the other side of the knife. So you're getting a ton of leverage from this front flipper. The reason that matters is because the more leverage you have, the less effort you can put forth and still get maximum result. So that takes almost nothing, right? I mean, just barely any effort. This thing's flying out. Kind of the same thing with the thumb discs too, because you're getting more real estate to push off from. And the thumb disc is canted a little bit this way. So like instead of being straight up and down, they're a little this way, which gives you more leverage. But also you just get more space to put your finger. It's not just a thumb stud. You get a whole like flat surface. So what that translates into is I can do almost nothing. And I can still get the result of a blade flying out, you know, on deployment. Not only that though, but listen to the acoustics. So now with minimum effort, not only am I getting the feeling that the blade is flying out, but I'm also getting the feedback, the acoustic feedback that this thing is rocketing out, right? So the amount of effort that I'm putting forth to deploy the knife is amplified like 5 times over what it gives back to me as far as feeling and acoustic. And then the icing on the cake is when this thing falls, sorry for the shake, there we go. When this thing falls, it's very eager to go home. I don't have to shake it shut a million times. If anything, I try to slow it down a little bit. But you hear a lot of us talk about hydraulic close. This has no oil on it. I'm willing to bet if it had oil, this thing would just all day, just go home all by itself. So, you know, from my perspective, it's a combination of the increased leverage, meaning you don't have to apply that much effort, and also the way it's constructed, giving you so much acoustic and physical feedback, as if you did just like sling it out as hard as you could. Like, you know, you have those knives where it's like, wham, and you just flick it out and it goes flying, and it's, you know, super satisfying. Yeah, you get all that with this knife just with almost no effort. And I think it's the combination of those things that are giving it that premium feel. There might be more to it that I'm not explaining or that I'm not noticing, but it does give this knife a real sense of it makes this knife feel like a custom, right? It makes this knife feel like there wasn't 1,000 of them made. This knife feels similar to, you know, a small batch of 10 knives were made by a dude. You know, he does a drop once every 3 months. You know what I'm saying? It has that feel to it. Like the action feels special. And thusly, the entire knife feels special. So yeah, and like I said, that's my best way of explaining it. You know, there might be other aspects that I'm missing, but when you can combine that with the, you know, how the ergonomics feel, you know, it feels like a lot of care and attention went into the knife. You know, so kudos to Christensen Knife Works. Also kudos to Kansept for you know, executing very, very well on the maker's design. So jumping back into it, lock bar access. I mean, it's a dream. Just slide in. Once again, kind of minimal effort, and it comes right down. While it doesn't have a reversible pocket clip, we are lefty friendly. I don't do lefty stuff. I don't practice it. So if I can do it, then a lefty can absolutely do it. There it is. Now overall length, we're coming in at 7.875 inches with a blade length of 3.5 inches and a blade to handle ratio of 0.8 or 80%, which is fan-freaking-tastic. That's when we start to kind of get that, you know, Shirogorov-ish, almost 50-50 kind of look. Size comparison up against the Real Steel Sylph. Okay, well, it looks like I misplaced every knife that I normally have up here. So we'll also do size comparison against the Titanium Kershaw Mini Iridium. So as we can see, the Tarkin's kind of dwarfing both of them. And review coming on this guy soon. Spoiler alert, I'm a big fan. And let's do the Vanguard Cheetah. And the Tarkin is still beating this out by about 1/4 of an inch. So not quite a full-size knife, being that it's not 8 inches, but pretty darn close to it. Now, what's the price on this bad boy? Weight 4 ounces. So it's a little hefty. This knife, it's got a pretty wide range, but configurations start as low as 179. That's more of like a plain titanium. Still the 20 CV, you know, but a simpler configuration. And then it goes up to, I believe, as high as like 219. So it's got a pretty big swing, but, you know, base model being 179 and some change. Yeah, I think that's a fantastic price for what you're getting. Is this something I would carry? 110%. Is this something that I would collect? 110%. Not this configuration. I would definitely get the plain smooth titanium with the blacked out hardware. But that's a knife that I would carry. And it's something that I'd want to keep in my collection. Because it's like, it's not necessarily a collector's piece, but it's like the nicest feeling user you could imagine, right? Like this is the type of knife that will like knock other knives out of your rotation, right? So it's like, okay, I've got this knife and then I've got, you know, this knife and I need to review this one. So I got to leave this one home for today. But then like, you know, I get up and I start my day and I'm like, come with me. You know what I'm saying? That's just how good it is. The fantastic knife. Real steel silk, like $50. Feels like a Chavez. Integral. I can't recommend it enough. Incredible knife. Pound for pound, dollar for dollar. Fantastic. But yeah, I have the only things about this knife that I don't like is this configuration. I don't like the pattern and I don't like the speed holes. Outside of that, though, for the price point and for what you're getting, I mean, I'm not saying it's perfect, but Jesus Christmas, this is a damn good knife. If my grandma came to me and needed a knife and how much I love her, I would be like, you need to get the Kansept Tarkin, grandma. That's what you need. If a baby asked me, well, okay, not a baby, but if somebody needed a really good knife and I really cared about them, I could wholeheartedly recommend the Kansept Tarkin. This thing's a friggin' masterpiece. They crushed it. But it's one of those things you're not going to know until you get it in hand, right? Because you can look at it all day and be like, you have to get it in hand to really understand where I'm coming from. To understand where everyone's coming from. I mean, I was a naysayer. Well, not a naysayer, but I was a non-believer. Well, I wasn't a non-believer, but I was reasonably skeptical. Yeah, there we go. But it didn't take any time. I mean, as soon as I got it out, I was like, oh, wow. Let me try that again. Oh, wow. I get it now. So that's enough. You know, I do want to know, based on what I've said, and I think I know, is this something that you would carry? Is it something that you would collect? Or is it not even on your radar? Is it you just not even your taste? You don't even like it? Let me know in the comments down below. I will have this knife linked at the lowest price I can possibly find it. I don't have affiliate links right now, at least not for this knife. So until then, you know, I'm just going to try to find the best deal I can. Do me a favor, while you're down there, hit the like button. Also, if you're enjoying the videos, please subscribe. Would super appreciate that. And then after you're subscribed and you've liked the video, just go to a playlist and let it play in the background for hours. That way I can get monetized, because that would be great. And I would love you forever. You can follow me on Instagram and you can follow me on TikTok at SEVRSEVN. Both of those are going to be linked in the description as well. Can't tell you how much I appreciate the love and support, guys. You've been fantastic. If you made it this far, God bless you. And thank you. Really helps the algorithm. So other than that, I will see you guys in the next one. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Nothing but love. Peace.